Um, excuse me? So I was scrolling through the Internet Archive software collection, as I do maybe a little bit too much, and I stumbled across the little-known Half-Life demo, Half-Life Uplink. Ostensibly speaking, this series is kind of just an excuse for me to explore super weird, eclectic games from the late 90s and early 2000s that are kind of unheard of and only really seem to wind up on the Internet Archive and nowhere else. But in this case, I wanted to make an exception. I think I'd call myself a Half-Life fan. I used to play the games like once a year-ish. But I've never actually played the demo, and yeah, I kind of wanted to check it out since I came across it. I'm going to be playing a version released as a mod for the Steam version of Half-Life. I played through the original demo, but since I run Linux, I was only able to get it to render in software mode, and also I wasn't able to get it to run at a resolution higher than this without putting in any effort whatsoever, so the Steam version it is.
Up the reactor complex so we can get down to safety.
I'm sorry.
The demo starts out well after the resonance cascade has already happened, and we're trapped in a room with these two guys, and we need to decide amongst ourselves who's going to align a satellite transmitter to send out a communication so we can leave the facility.
And I'm getting high radiation levels in the transmitter dome. Nobody but a fool would go in there.
What about this guy?
Hey man, what makes you think I want to volunteer for this suicide mission? I just got here! Besides, you've got a gun. Why don't you go?
I'll stay here and guard this area.
Alright, okay, geez. Fine. I guess him having a gun and me having nothing is as good an argument as any why I'm going to do this. In order to get to the transmitter dome, we have to fight our way through a few corridors populated by headcrabs, and out into a shipping yard where we encounter the HECU. Along the way, I collected a crowbar and a pistol, and I spotted a shotgun through the window of a locked door, but I absolutely could not figure out how to get to it. There's a security guard here, and I thought that he might be able to open the door for me, but, well, he was less than helpful. This demo has some really nifty, entirely bespoke levels that really manage to capture the same feeling as the retail game. The areas in which we fight the HECU are really well developed from a combat point of view. There are lots of areas to duck around and set up firefights, and we get some killer set pieces one after another. To be honest, I kind of have a soft spot for turret sections. I know that's kind of universally hated in video games, but I think it works really well to break up some of the tension that's been built up through combat, mercilessly gunning down soldiers. So the combat's great. But honestly, in terms of navigability, I think some of these areas could use just a little bit of work. I'm probably not the best person to talk about such things since I kind of struggle with spatial perception in video games, but one of the things I've always liked about Valve games in particular is how accessible they are. I generally feel like I know where I'm supposed to go when playing a Valve game, but here I honestly struggled just a little bit. There's a hole in a shipping crate that looks like it should be almost big enough to fit through, and actually it is, if you struggle long enough. But you're supposed to get around this obstacle by climbing a ladder on top of one of the crates and making a jump. And honestly, after this section, I kind of have nothing to complain about.
Freeman, you'll want to work quickly. Tune the transmitter to the USNRC. I repeat, tune to the USNRC.
Alright, so the transmitter's aligned. Poggers.
Doors should open now. We'll meet you down below.
Oh, fuck. This is considerably less poggers. In order to get back to where we started, we get another Half-Life staple, claustrophobic corridors where we have to fight zombies. Now, I don't really know what to say about this section. This isn't a dig at the game, this level design is fine, but if you've played any Half-Life game, you've played this level. I have nothing to say. It seems like while I was aligning the transmitter, some Vortigons crashed our party and the HECU aren't having the best time.
Freeman, who would have thought you'd still be alive?
Oh yeah, sure. Thanks, jackass.
Do you have any idea what's going on?
Fuck if I know. The rest of this should be a walk in the park, right? I mean, we've aligned the transmitter. All there should be left to do is escape. What was that? In order to progress past this point, you have to climb up a collapsed air duct. And to be honest, it took me half a minute to realize that's where I had to go. I've already talked a bit about how reliant I've become on Valve's subtle hints incorporated into their level design to intuitively know where I'm supposed to go. But if I've learned anything playing Half-Life, it's that you don't touch electrified shit. But that's the way to go, so wish me luck. Oh, damn, okay, I guess this is it. A big ol' boss battle. I don't feel prepared, but, I think I've got a strategy. If I can just hop over here and get, okay, I'm stuck. Okay, well now, if I can just make it to that collapsed walkway, I should be able to, oh. Okay, that's it. I guess that's the game. You know, this demo does everything a good demo should. It's a bit short, but I guess that's the point, right? Cut it just when it's getting good so that you'll buy the game. There aren't a huge number of weapons you can get, and not a huge diversity in enemies to fight, but for the length of the demo, I think that's honestly perfect. Each weapon you encounter and each enemy you fight has a period in which you get to learn what they do and how to interact with them before you're thrust into an all-out firefight. I think had there been more weapons and more enemies, it would have felt overwhelming trying to understand their mechanics, while having to quickly dump that info right after to learn how to interact with new weapons and new enemies. This demo does feel a little bit rushed, though. There are a few glitches that aren't game-breaking, but are a bit funny and kind of take you out of the game, and I already talked about the clunkiness in the level design in some areas. But to be honest, had I never played Half-Life, I think this demo would convince me. But yeah, that's it. Kind of a short video, which is kind of nice, because I've got to go back to work tomorrow and I'm just starting this. But yeah, thanks for tagging along as I dive into Half-Life Uplink. I'll catch you on the next one.